Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Today I want to share a little bit about loving your way through life because I'll be honest, I don't always love my way through life. I get frustrated, I get overwhelmed, I get stressed, and that's definitely happened over the past few months. Anybody out there that has children probably can relate. You know, maybe you've worked from home or maybe you've been out of a job lately. And life can really throw some crazy curveballs. Honestly haven't been acting very graceful through it all. It's just been crazy, right? I told my husband the other day, I'm like, I never planned on moving while the kids are home full time. We can't just get a babysitter or have them at daycare and or summer camp and things like that. Like, we never planned on moving while the world was in such a crazy state. Like, we planned this all when, way before before all this happened. Like, our house was going to go on the market in March, and obviously it didn't then. And we're moving about 2 months different, so it's not very long. However, I've had to really remind myself of what I teach, how I motivate people, and like things like that. Like, I've had to really dig deep myself through this process. So when I share tidbits with you, sometimes I forget them too. And I could really beat myself up. Like, I'd be like, oh my goodness, Jody, why aren't you listening to your own advice? Or there's been times where I wrote an email in a really good place, and then something happens where I get a little overwhelmed because of all the stuff going on. And then I'll reread my email going, right, I need to listen to my own advice. Like, thanks, Jody. So things in life happen. We can beat ourselves up. We can live in that place. It's like, why didn't I do that sooner? Stupid me. Like, why did I do that? Oh, I should have done this, or I could have done this. Instead, we need to love ourselves more. It doesn't mean that we can't learn from the mistakes we made. It doesn't mean like we should forget that it happened, be like, oh well, whatever, like, let's forget that happened. It's about shining light on those, struggles, mistakes, or whatever we want to call them, failures, like, because that's how we learn. We learn by failing, by messing up, and things like that. It was actually something I posted a while back. It's like, I rather an oops than a what if. I want to stop living my life in what if and actually just like try it out. However, it took me a while to get there. I could have beat myself up on the fact that I wasn't doing it sooner. There was times in this moving process that, we could have got a house a lot cheaper like a year ago when we talked about moving, or even 2 years before, because the housing market was a lot slower then. Now things are picking up. And, we could have been over there while the world was shut down. And, anyways. We could have been like, what if, like, we could have got lost in, but what if we would have done it sooner? What if we would have done this? And when we live in that place, we can't actually enjoy where we're actually going. And it comes into loving the mistakes, loving the failures, and maybe if you can't love them, at least be like, okay, acknowledge them. They happened. I learned this from that. And there's just so many times in my life where, you can get through that vicious cycle of what if, could have, should have, would have. And then it gets messy, and it gets, you get frustrated, and then things don't flow well either. So whenever I find myself there, because I have found myself there, especially recently with so much going on, I have to catch myself. And that's the first step. It's just becoming aware that that's a pattern that happens. It's not about like beating yourself up about it. Just be like, oh, I'm having that thought now. Okay. I don't want to have that thought, so let's change that thought. Or you don't have to be like, I don't want to have that thought. Whatever works for you. But it's like, okay, well, let's think of something different, or how can I change my perspective or word it differently? It's like, okay. So obviously you can't change something that has happened in the past. Like, I can't change the fact that we didn't move sooner. And like I said in a different episode, I actually had to become the person I am today to make that move happen. I actually wouldn't have been ready to move a year ago. If I'm being honest with myself, I wasn't the same person. I have had to remove beliefs and fears to get me to this place to make that move. And we weren't even in a place like anything. Anyways, this is a perfect time. So I always remind myself, like, this is perfect timing. And it really is about like taking a moment and catching, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or whatever you're going through, the overwhelm, the stress. In all honesty, I had to do this myself recently when I was looking at my to-do list, looking at the calendar, be like, ooh, we don't have a lot of time before we have to get out of our house. And I got overwhelmed. I got lost in the to-do list, the overwhelm. And love wasn't there anymore. It was fear. It was frustration. It was anger. And no one was benefiting from that, including myself. So I had to be like, wait a second. Take a deep breath, Jody, and focus on love. Because remember, where there is love, fear cannot exist. And the funny thing is, when we're overwhelmed and stressed out, we actually have less energy. So as I've been stressed and overwhelmed, I actually have less energy to pack and do things. So it's about focusing on love. And I know a long time before this, like, I was going for a walk, and this was, this had to be in like January probably, but way before schools closed down and things like that. I was walking and I had all these negative thoughts going in my head. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, what would love do? So it's just focusing on love. Like, what would love do in this situation? And from my moving perspective, it's like, well, love would enjoy all these moments. Love would be there for my kids as much as I can. And love would will give time for me, give time for my kids, and have enough left over to move. Love would enjoy the process. Love would give me a big warm hug and be like, you can do this, Jody. So life is not, a straight line. Life is like curvy, crazy. It looks like maybe, a little toddler drew a picture. It's like it's all over the place and crazy. That's what life looks like. Or sometimes it might be a straight line and then some bumps and stuff like that. It's how we look at things, how we go about things that changes the journey, changes how we enjoy things. I really did hit a stressful wall. I want to be open and honest. Like, that's part of what I do. I'm authentic. I want to show up as me and how I'm feeling. And as I'm recording this, like, I had to go through some big hurdles recently with the move. And, I didn't do everything gracefully or lovingly. I had to slow down. And actually, I'm so grateful for this podcast, because it actually gives me a day to be by myself and record for you, my listeners, that, I want to share with you. And I haven't always been graceful in listening to my own advice. We can get caught up when life gets so busy and it feels like there's so much to do and not enough time. And I have to remind myself that, love is stronger than fear. And we don't know what's coming tomorrow. So it's trying to embrace and enjoy every day as it comes. And life, like I said, is not a straight line. And I talked about it a few podcasts ago where, getting uncomfortably comfortable and, change is hard at the beginning and messy in the middle, but gorgeous at the end. The mess can be very, very stressful if that's where you're at. Like, that's where I'm at, if being completely honest. And it's really important to take some time when you feel stressed and overwhelmed and send yourself some love. Like, that is something I'm actively practicing while I'm, working on creating these podcasts for you. I literally hit a wall and feeling overwhelmed and stressful. Like, I told my husband I gotta go. I actually, there's so many things that I have, I remind myself of that I share with with my loving tribe and with you, my listeners. So I had to I had to tell my husband, I'm like, I have to remember, it's like, I need to start focusing on like the only thing I need to do today. Because my to-do list and, the crunch time is getting a little bit of hold of me. So and that's when we don't let love lead, right? Like I'm getting overwhelmed and getting stressed because I'm losing faith in myself and in the ability to do this. And, I'm not letting love be my top priority. Like just yesterday, I was like, I want to be more present with my children and present with myself. So it's just sometimes all we need to do in life, we don't have to do a lot, but sometimes all we have to do is just being aware that we need to make a change, a shift, that we need to look more in a loving way than a fearful way. And just making that shift in our perspective and in our priorities. So like moving forward after I record this podcast, I'm going to be looking more at love, loving ways, loving the process of packing, excited, for the new adventure. It can be so easy getting lost in the uncertainties, the unknowns, the to-do list. Trust me on that one. I don't even want to get you started on my to-do list. I'm sure you all have that too, so I don't want to put that, overwhelm onto you as well. It's looking, put our love goggles on or our love glasses and start seeing things with love. Life can have so many challenges and struggles. It doesn't mean that we have to move through life overwhelmed, stressful, and annoyed and angry and sad and whatever else emotions are moving through there. We can still feel them. We just don't live there, right? I don't want to say like chase your emotions away because they are all there for a reason. And I didn't have to hit a break point, a stressful point, but clearly I did to be like, wait a second. This is not the way I want to be living my life. I want to live my life in a place of love. And if that's what you want to do too, it's thinking like, what would love do? Or it's like, I choose love. Those are my two go-tos when I feel like I'm out of alignment with who I am, how I want to be, how I want to feel. It's like, what would love do? Or I choose love. Those are my two big ones while loving my way through life. And like I said before, there's struggles, challenges, and all crazinesses. We can fail. We, make a wrong decision, maybe not make it soon enough or what we thought was soon enough, whatever it may be. It's about realizing that happened to get you to where you are today, or, maybe it was meant to be that way, and that can be really hard to see right now. Sometimes when something, what we, deem bad or sad or, not good, we can look at it in such a negative way until we're like, oh, if this didn't happen, I wouldn't have met my partner or my husband or whatever it may be, or I wouldn't have gotten that job, like getting laid off and things like that. Like for me, I got laid off. It's like I wouldn't have, and I was looking for a new job forever before that. And it was sad to get let go because I'm like, oh, they talk about getting like not feeling good enough. That was a moment. I know we shared that in another episode, or like not feeling good enough. However, in that moment, I wouldn't have gone into my own business and I wouldn't have done, this and that with my life. So sometimes stuff in life that we think is not good is that pivotal point, helps us get us in the direction that we might want to be going. It's a fun little, it's like, wait a second, you're heading in the wrong direction. Like, boop, there you go. You're heading that way now. And is trying to do it all as lovingly as you can, right? Like the more we beat ourselves up about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or failing and things like that, we definitely lose out on all the magic that's happening within us right now, around us and within us right now. So look for the things in your life to love, and then you'll see more things to love. And I will take my own advice. I promise. I will do that right now after I'm done recording this. And I will start looking at all the things I love in my life. And that definitely just brings more love into our life. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, sad. There's just so much uncertainty right now. And if you have the kids home like I do, give yourself some extra love right now. What would love do? Would love let you have a nap right now? Love be like, go have a nap. Whatever it may be for you. Maybe it's having a conversation with your partner or somebody else. Be like, can you watch the kids for an hour just so I can have some me time? I know for me, that was a big one. I wasn't doing anything for me there for a while, even though I say how important it is. But it's like, oh, the kids are home 24/7 and my husband's working full time. What am I like? How are we going to do this? And I realized that I needed time to honor myself and to be with myself and just to fill my own cup up. So if you've been running on empty for a long time, give yourself some time to just charge your batteries. Fill yourself up so you can help and be there for the people around you, your loved ones. You can't help other people until your own cup is full. I've learned that too. That is definitely tricky, and it can be hard to do when there's so much to do. The thing is, though, if you run on empty too long, it will take longer to recharge. Like, think of a cell phone. Your battery's getting low. Maybe it's 10, 15%. It's getting into the red. And you're like, oh boy, I got to charge this sucker or else I'm not going to have a phone. Or what if you forget about your phone or you've just been talking on it or using it too much and it actually goes completely dead? Like, it takes even longer to charge. The lower your battery is, the longer it takes to charge. So like if only you're 75%, 80, oh, I'm going to be out for a while. Maybe I should charge you. Don't let yourself get too low. I say that with so much love because, again, I was reminded throughout all this. So, the more energy you have, the more love you have, the more you have to give to others. So start loving your life and looking, it's about changing perspective. See your failures as learning tools. Maybe your to-do list is like a reminder, that you belong on that to-do list too. You're overwhelmed, be like, oh, something's off. The stress, something is off. Something needs to give, need to change something. Give yourself a hug, take a vacation, whatever it may be. Life is meant to be loved, and it all starts with you. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.